Hi. All right, good evening. I'm Joe Rizzoto with the Salida Fire Department. It's been a while since I got the chance to speak at the MAC, so I'm happy to be here. Normally when we do these things, I kind of do an overview of what we've been doing the past few months and over the last month since last time we met. So I've got some numbers for you and just kind of give you an idea what your fire department's been up to. Hey, Lorenzo. Nice hat. Thank you. So in the last 30 days since last time we met at the MAC, we ran 130 calls as of today. And I know this is a quarterly MAC, right? At least I was told.
No, it's monthly.
Well, I was told this was there's a quarterly report, so I prepared one. Nevertheless, but since the first of the year till now, we ran 336 calls, and of that, about 55 to 60% of those have been medical calls. Significant events the past month since we last met. We've had a few fatal vehicle accidents, one on Beckwith that I'm sure you guys saw that made the paper, that our fire district responded to and took care of that. Also another fatal accident on Highway 99 in Hammett. Let's see, we had a small laundry room fire at a residence in Salida. Didn't really go anywhere past the laundry room. We took care of that. Another small fire at a residence that there was a kitchen stove that caught on fire. Took care of that, disassembled the stove and put it on its way. We had a big rig fire on 99 in Hammett about a week ago that made the papers as well. It's kind of a significant event because it caused a lot of traffic on Highway 99, and big rig fires, opposed to regular small vehicle fires, require a lot more water. So we had to bring in our water tender so we didn't run out of water in the fire engine. And there was a looky-loo that happened to look at from what we were told, happened to stop and look at the event, and there was a motorcycle accident in regards to someone looking at the fire. So that created another medical call, so we had to get some help from the Ripon Fire Department, and as well as some other fire engines from Salida. So that wrapped up our guys for about 3 hours on the highway that night. So community activities that we've been involved in the past month, we're going back to another significant event that we had, and I'm sure that made the papers as well, was the vehicle into the church, the First Congressional Church in downtown Salida. So that's my segue into community activities the past month. So because of the damage that happened at the church, the vehicle happened to strike the kitchen side of the church just right, that damaged their stove, and they were planning a meal for 200 people for their St. Patrick's Day party. So the fire chief opened the doors of the firehouse, and we hosted that event for them just last week. Some other community activities, we've been involved in the Every 15 Minutes program. The last one we did was at Modesto Christian High School. If you're not familiar with the Every 15 Minutes program, just briefly, it's a project run by CHP that we assist with, as well as AMR. And it's a program designed to show high school kids the do's and don'ts to discourage them from distracted driving, whether it be texting or drinking and driving. And we basically take some vehicles from a auto records yard and we smash it up, and we take high school students and we put them in these cars and we put blood and all those kinds of things on them to make it actually look like they were involved in an accident. We stage it, and there'll be one person who actually deceased, but they're all kind of Hollywood makeup kind of thing, and people that are seriously injured. We fly in a helicopter because some people need to go out in helicopters. We actually literally fly in a helicopter. We do our things. We extricate the patients. The ambulance company is there. We put people on a helicopter. We put people on ground ambulances. After the scene is kind of stabilized, CHP will come in and actually arrest the driver. It was the DUI driver. It's really an impactful event for these students to really see, hey, this is a real deal. I should really pay attention, not be distracted drivers. So it's been going on for a number of years, and we were happy to participate in that. One's coming up next month at Gregoria High School that we're going to participate in as well. But it's a really good PR event. We also had the opportunity to do some training with Congressman Jeff Denham's office last month. They asked us to provide some CPR and fire extinguisher training for them. So we spent a good afternoon with his staff. And that's something that's open to everybody. If that's something that the community needs, contact the fire department and we can arrange things like that for you as well. Some good of the order stuff, kind of things that we've been doing in the last few months, good stuff in kind of direction that we're going. We're about 3/4 of the way through with training our probationary firefighters. We brought on 15 new personnel at the end of the summer, and we're still on track to have them be done by midsummer. And we anticipate everybody to be successful because we got a really good group of guys. This month right now is wildland training. We're getting into summertime. And usually what happens is we start doing a lot of training right before the grasses start turning brown. So by the time it's time to start fighting some grass fires, we've already been trained, we're ready to go. One of the things that the fire department do, besides what we do here in-house, locally in the Salida, Wood Colony, and Modesto rural area, is we have the river bottom and we have grasses around here, but we also participate in the California Mutual Aid System, which means anybody can ask us to go. And last year our fire department did go out of county, and there's a special kind of classes and certifications that we need to maintain to do that. So this whole month is all about getting this particular card that enables us to be certified to go out and help other agencies throughout California. So a big month for us. We're continuing to work with the City of Ripon, providing coverage for both districts. So we've been working really strong with them the past year. That they're a like agency like us. So when they have a significant incident where they're tapped out, they'll ask us to help cover. Just like when we get short-staffed, Ripon will come cover the district of Salida. So it's been a really good mutual aid agreement. It's been working real well. Next week will mark the last day of state fire training for new firefighter driver operators. One of the things bringing in new folks is we also need to take some of our senior staff and allow them to drive fire engines. We always have a lot of staffing, but not everybody can drive a fire engine. It's a very specific license. You have to get some special license to drive a fire engine from DMV, as well as the industry for us, for the fire service, is you have to do 80 hours worth of instruction, one about driving a fire engine and one about pumping a fire engine. And then once you do that, we have another 40 hours on top of that locally in Salida that we get all of our new guys checked off on how to pump and drive our rigs that are specific to us. So we anticipate 6 to 7 guys by May to be certified as drivers. So when we're doing multiple back-to-back calls, we'll have other volunteer firefighters be able to hop in a rig. And Josh right here, who's one of our volunteer firefighters, raise your hand, Josh. He's one of our new probies. So if we have some of our senior volunteers that are certified to drive, and Josh is down at the firehouse waiting to hop on a fire engine, we'll have more drivers to go ahead and assist our community. So we've got a lot of good things going on. We're continuing to plug away, and we're just happy to serve. So if anybody has any questions for us at this time?
I wanted to pass on one thing. I listened to disasters in other areas on my phone, and some of the key things the fire department and emergency service are relying on during hurricanes and other times when you have critical calls all over town and can't get there is access to a front end loader. And that is like the key piece that they call for is I can't get my fire truck there because there's power lines down or there's cars blocking the road and they have to get a front end loader there first to get there. So I just wanted to pass that on and have you guys think about where can you get your hands on a front end loader if you need it.
That's an excellent point and a good question, and we actually do. So our fire chief knows just about everybody in our district and beyond. He's a well-known guy, and he has a lot of connections. And there are a lot of people, whether they were a volunteer firefighter or are a volunteer firefighter right now in Salida, that are a lot of farmers, and we have access to that. We get a lot of hay fires, unfortunately, in the summertime. Hay starts to dry up, and we get hay fires. So it's kind of hard to get in there and put out the fire without grabbing a front loader or some kind of piece of machinery. And what do you know? Fire chief will make a phone call, and we will get a front loader coming right down to our call and assist with that. So I know that if we had some kind of emergency situation that would require that in a disaster, we'd absolutely have access to that.
And then the other half would be communications with that unit to keep in contact with it once it's dispatched.
Fire chief, well, they don't have county radios at this point, but I see incorporating them in some kind of emergency response systems, which you're getting at. Yeah, that's definitely something notable. I know you have the fire chief's email, so I would suggest just kind of put that right, shoot him an email. I'll mention it as well when I see him in passing. I think that's a great spot, an excellent idea, it really is. But I know we do have access to that, and they do show up.
Any other questions for Captain Rizzoto? Seeing that, thank you. And thanks for doing the St. Patrick's Day dinner for the church and everything else you do for the community. We appreciate it.
We'll pass that on to the fire chief. He opens the doors.
We appreciate all of you.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a team effort.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for your time.